The college football season is about 100 days away, and we already have some drama surrounding Colorado, Coach Prime, and tampering.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And who doesn't love free things? So make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share it with a friend so we can expand our family and make it even bigger. Let's dive into the tampering allegations. Yes, it is May, I think 30th is today's date, right? I think. Yeah, May 30th, a Thursday. And Colorado finds themselves being accused of tampering, not by a Power 5 program, not by a conference rival, not by a Group of 5 program, but by a D2 in-state program. A little bit about what's going on in Colorado. I was scrolling through the web, as one does, or scrolling through the app formerly known as Twitter, and I come across a tweet, or an X post, if you will, and it's talking about how it's from the head coach of Colorado State University, Pueblo, and head coach Philip Vigil, I believe is how you say his name. He posted screenshots from what appears to be, or what he thinks to be, is a Colorado staffer, Devin Rispres, who joined Coach Prime's staff this offseason, allegedly tampering with a player on his roster. And so the text messages go as follow. It says, "Hey, is this insert name? We don't know the name from blank high school." And then the recruit or the player says, "Yes, who is this?" And then the alleged coach, Devin Rispres, says, "Hey, man, how's it going? This is Coach Devin Rispres, the assistant director of player personnel here at Colorado University," which is not what the school is called. It's the University of Colorado, but I digress. And it says, "Me and my team wanted to check on your availability. Are you a full commit to CSU Pueblo?" And then the player responded, "Yes, I am a full commit to Pueblo." And then he said, "Okay, do you have any interest in a commitment flip with us?" And then he said, the player says, "I'll have to talk with my family and my coaches as well. If that's okay with you, is there a specific time frame that I need to get back to you?" And before responding, he said, "Okay, it seems like a commitment flip will not be possible until next transfer portal opens. So we'll be in contact with you throughout the season. We'll hopefully be able to make this happen next offseason. Great player on the field, and I'm sure even better person off the field. Have a great season. We will stay in contact." And then I'm guessing it's his number or something. And it says, "Sounds good, coach. Thank you so much." And so obviously these are bold accusations, because in college football, is there tampering? Always 100%, 1,000%. Yes, there is tampering. But do coaches ever publicly be like, "You know what? Coach Borba over there at the University of Knuckle Draggers," or whatever it is, or University of Idiots over there, he is contacting our players." And like that, for a coach to personally not only call out a coach, he called out the coach specifically, posted the conversation, and also tagged Deion Sanders. So he knew that this was going to draw eyes. He knew that this was going to draw attention. And as you can imagine, a lot of people have seen this post on Twitter. 5 million people have viewed the tweet. And it's obviously going to gain more and more traction as the days go by. And then Coach Rispers responded, "Nice try. Y'all been catfished. Wrong guy, brother. You could have hit me up before tweeting this and embarrassing your program." And so clearly he's not going to admit to tampering. But what do I have to say about this? Well, one, I think this could have been handled like adults, not like adults in the modern era where we subtweet people, but like adults in eras of times past where you go, "Hey, you hit him up." Because obviously, if that's the guy, if that's his number, your player has it. So you could be like, "Hey, don't appreciate you hitting our guy up." And then if it's that serious, you could report it to the NCAA, or you could report it to the Big 12, not tweeting it and making it this whole spectacle, because now it's he said versus he said. And now obviously Coach Rispres has obviously denied it. And so it's like, okay, so who do we believe? Like the guy that I'm going to say most people have never heard of, or the coach who we don't see his number. The text message literally says it has the wrong phrasing of the school. So does this coach not know what school he works for? Is that what it is? And it's unfortunate, but people do pull these sorts of pranks all the time. There was I think it was the Washington State coach. Someone was impersonating him, and reaching out to recruits and being like, hey, really interested in your film, really interested in you coming to Washington State. And it's really a disgusting act. It's something that I see a lot on social media where these influencers will dress up as scouts and go to like youth like baseball tournaments and be like, hey, really liked you, or hey, is that your son over there? Like he sucks. And like I just feel like kind of like this social media fad or social media trends that we have these days is like I think making fun of other people or like sort of capitalizing on someone's vulnerability. Like obviously this player was interested. Like this player would be going, and there's no shade against Colorado State Pueblo. Like I went to a D2 school myself. Like there's no shade in going to a D2 school, but obviously if you're a D2 athlete in a Power 5 program, not only a D1 program, but a Power 5 program with one of the most popular head coaches in the country reaches out to you, you're obviously going to be interested. So I hope for everyone's sake involved that this is just a misunderstanding and that it's someone impersonating Coach Rispress. And if not, Colorado will find themselves in hot water here and may receive a punishment here or there in terms of recruiting. Because obviously, like I know you guys are gonna go, oh, this happens everywhere. If it is him, it does happen everywhere. But I mean, if you get caught, you get caught, and there's a punishment if you get caught. And so I'm not really sure if it's obvious. I don't have his phone number. I wasn't in the conversation. We won't know who it is until more facts come out. I'm sure the NCAA will take a look into this, but it's definitely an unfortunate situation, and I hope things get resolved, to say the least. When we come back, I'm going to be talking about the Coach Prime effect. Colorado has multiple nationally televised games coming up this season. I'm going to tell you if I think, excuse me, I'm going to tell you if I think they're going to win, why it's a big deal they're nationally televised, and is Colorado the biggest brand in the Big 12? This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting NBA Finals tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip off. Use the app featured, listed, and customize your sport and discuss with your friends where you want to go. They have last minute ticket deals, they have flash deals, they have zone deals. Easy to find and buy MLB tickets or NBA tickets for every kind of event in your area. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, comedy, theater, and anything near you. Save even more with an exclusive in-app deal on select seats ahead of the game or event. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA Finals tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. And let's talk about the Coach Prime effect, because it is real. It is here to stay. First of all, I want to, like I said, I want to thank you guys for making me your first listen of the day. I want to thank you guys for all the likes, subscribes, followers that you give me. We're nearing 5,300. Let's get to 6,000 by the start of the season. That's the goal. I'm going to make sure to get some really cool guests coming on the show up here in the near future. I'm going to collaborate with other content creators, and it's going to be really awesome. So you guys won't want to miss it. You won't want your friends to miss it. Let's talk about it though. Colorado, Big 12, they announced scheduled kickoff times, TV destinations, and more. So I'm going to go through the first 3 weeks and talk about whether I think is a winnable game, if Colorado's going to win or lose, and just talk about the Coach Prime effect as a whole. So starting off with week 1, we all knew this one was coming. North Dakota State, it's a Thursday at Colorado at 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. That's going to be a very tough game. That game is going to be one that a lot of people tune into. I'm sure it'll generate millions of viewers because people are going to want to watch this Colorado team get punched in the mouth by an FCS program, so they can laugh at them. That's kind of how it goes. People want to hit you when you're down, and Colorado is going to be tested in a big way. You know, that North Dakota State program, they win games. They win championships. They've won 9 championships in like the past 11 years. They've beaten FBS programs. They've beaten ranked Power 5 programs before. They are no joke. So that's who Colorado's taking on week 1. I do think Colorado escapes narrowly. I think it should be a really good and fascinating game, and I'm giving Colorado the edge here. Let's go to week 2. Colorado is going to Nebraska, and this is going to be at 7:30 p.m. on NBC. And that is going to be a fantastic game. You got Shador Sanders, Dylan Raiola. Colorado beat the snot out of Nebraska last year when people thought, oh, you know what, TCU's a fraud. But Nebraska Nebraska's different. This Nebraska team is going to come out with a vengeance. They're going to be furious about last year. There's a lot of beef, Matt Rule kind of shaded Coach Prime. There was that whole thing at midfield. Who knows what happens? They were praying on the logo or they were stomping on the logo. Who knows? But there's beef. There's bad blood. I think Colorado could win that game. I really do. I think that game will be a true test for just how good Colorado is. And then week 3, Colorado is, in which this is a pretty big deal. A lot of the Big 12 games, I think I saw something today that they had the most games on a streaming service. So for Colorado continually get these marquee games and on marquee channels and marquee time slots, pretty big deal. That's the Coach Prime effect. They know that people want to watch Colorado. They know that there's a fascination with Colorado, win or lose. People are going to want to tune in and see how this Colorado program does. So Colorado week 3, they're heading to Fort Collins to take on Colorado State, another late night game. Colorado's earliest game in their first 3 weeks is 7:00, I believe, is what 7:30. Or it's this. Yeah, their earliest game in the first 3 weeks is 7:30. They're taking on Colorado State in Fort Collins on CBS. Obviously, that's a game that went to double overtime last year. I think Colorado beats the living you-know-what out of them. I think there's going to be a lot of bad blood from last year. Obviously, Jay Norvell, his wife, a lot of people. I think the Travis Hunter hit while it was reconciled and Travis Hunter and the player kind of made up. I think there's going to be just some leftover sort of there's just going to be some leftover tenacity and anger where they're like, yeah, let's hang 50 on this team and beat them by 35 points or whatever it is. So that was an interesting one to me. And then another notable Big 12 conference kickoff, Colorado will be hosting Oklahoma State on Black Friday at noon on ABC, which is a pretty darn big deal. The Big 12 runner-up, Black Friday, marquee time. Whew, that's going to be a good game. I think that's a loss for Colorado. I really do. I worry about their run defense. I worry about if they're going to be able to stop Ollie Gordon. I don't think many people stopped Ollie Gordon last year, but it's going to be really interesting. Coach Prime effect is alive and well. If you guys weren't aware, and the Coach Prime effect is more than just getting eyes on the program or social media stuff or the transfer portal. It's just generating buzz, and he's done a fantastic job at generating buzz for this program. People care about Colorado. People care about what's happening in Boulder. People care about what's going on. They want to see this Colorado team succeed or fail, depending on what camp you're in. But Colorado's going to be pushing for Big 12 contention, I guess you could say. I don't know if they're going to be pushing for a Big 12 title, but they think they can be, which means they're going to be putting a lot of expectations on themselves. They're going to be talking a lot. They're going to be running their mouths, talking that ish, and everyone's going to be like, okay, let's see what this team's made of. They build their roster through the portal again. Let's see what they can muster. And I'm really excited for this upcoming season. You guys comment below, which game of those 4 that I mentioned are you most excited for? And what is their record in those 4 games? Is it 4-0? Is it 3-1? 2-2? Let me know what you think. We could duke it out in the comment sections. We could have some fun. We could talk about it as we always do. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the latest conference realignment rumor / false narrative. But we're going to be talking about it. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share this with a friend, share it with your mom, your dad, who cares? Share it with someone. Give me 5 stars, and let's get that subscriber count up. Let's get those 5-star ratings up. Let's do it. Also, are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and you have to turn down the volume with all the shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Okay, let's talk about conference realignment. Is it happening again? Doesn't appear so. If you guys missed it, because it's obviously not in Colorado, well, it's kind of Colorado's neck of the woods, but it's not Boulder. It's in Salt Lake City. There was, I guess you could call it a report. I don't know what you would call it. A rumor, report, one of those things that Utah was eyeing the ACC. So they were like, you know what? We haven't even officially joined the Big 12, but I think the ACC could be the move. And so there was a report that said speculation is circulating about potential shifts in college sport conferences. There's discussion about Utah possibly moving to the ACC despite its recent move to the Big 12, with some suggesting that the ACC might be a better fit due to its ESPN network agreement and potential for increased TV value. However, skepticism exists regarding the stability and attractiveness of the ACC compared to the Big 12. And then Utah released a statement saying, let me pull it up real quick. Oh, where'd it go? We are proud to be entering into the membership in the Big 12 conference in the coming months and excited to join our new colleagues and member institutions. A report over the weekend suggests, just a second, loading, suggested otherwise. It is completely fabricated and irresponsible. And so before the rumors even got rolling, we kind of got this, I guess, rumor put to sleep. And the rumor in and of itself was interesting because Utah, I would say, is probably the biggest, most successful, we'll call it, because I know Colorado fans are going to be like, Colorado's the biggest brand. They are the most successful brand in the Big 12 as it stands right now. They're one of the tier 1 programs in college football that were paid by EA Sports. Not that that's how we're going off this, but EA Sports determined who was the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 programs based off AP finishes, based off success. And so it's just one of those things where if you are a Utah fan Utah had like this weird thing with the Big 12 where it kind of felt like they thought they were too good for the Big 12 or whatever. They didn't want to join. I feel like some Utah fans were like, oh, I'm interested. But you have Florida State and Clemson, North Carolina. They're all like, I'm looking for a way out. I'm looking for a way out. I want the hell out of this conference, the ACC. So it's like weird. It's like, what are we doing here? Why would they want to join a conference that seems to be on its last legs? And so I don't think that's going to happen. What I do think is going to happen, and obviously Utah denied it, so we'll just have to wait and see until is Utah going to join the Big 12, or are they going to officially join the Big 12 when it's time, or are they going to surprise everyone and go to a conference that seems like it's drowning? I doubt it. But what I do think is going to happen is I think the Big 12 is going to break apart, or not the Big 12, the ACC is going to break apart eventually, and programs like Louisville, programs like Miami, whatever it may be, North Carolina may get into a Big 10, but North Carolina State or whatever it may be, Pitt, all these programs are going to be looking for a new home. And I think the Big 12 could be that new home. I think the Big 12 could be that third power conference. It's really going to be about which conference devours the other one first. And I think Brett Yormark is sort of the guy that's capable of doing it. I think he's the guy that's sort of willing to not play dirty, but he's willing to get down and dirty. He's willing to take these risks and make these moves. SMU would be a great Big 12 school. They're in the heart of Dallas. Like, there's so many reasons that I think the Big 12 could expand. But yeah, Utah to the ACC, not happening anytime soon. In terms of Big 12 programs that are new this year, obviously it's Colorado, which Colorado got the ball rolling. If you guys don't remember, Colorado was the first program to be like, you know what, Pac-12, we love you. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend, or like stop being friends with someone. It's like, we love you. You just have not changed. You have not made the right decisions lately, and it's time for us to move on. So Colorado leaves. Arizona and Arizona State and Utah follow suit. And now Colorado is back in the Big 12. They're arguably the biggest brand with Deion Sanders at the helm, and they're getting all the televised games. They're getting all this attention. And the Big 12 conference is going to be really interesting because I think it could be the easiest conference to win and sort of represent or be represented in the college football playoffs. So it obviously just depends on who could take advantage of that. So that's why it was another reason that it was confusing to me why Utah would want to leave that, because the ACC, while people may not want to admit it, probably a better conference from top to bottom. Whereas the Big 12, it's going to be really competitive, but I think Utah would have an easier time in the Big 12, in the Big 12 than they would in the ACC. So no conference realignment happening right now. Are the Buffs tampering? I don't think so. But again, it'll be really interesting to see if anything comes out of that investigation. And then the Prime effect. Colorado's getting a bunch of televised games. Coach Prime is getting his team on national TV, which matters to recruits, matters to boosters, matters to people who donate NIL funds. So It's going to be a really exciting season coming up, and I want to make sure that you guys subscribe. I want to make sure that you guys share this with friends so that we could grow this. That way, we could have as much fun as possible. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great Thursday. Have a great day. This has been Locked on Buffs.